Hello, everyone. Welcome to my mini lecture. Today, we're going to solder the sound and light alarm module according to the soldering work plan. The teaching objective is to assemble a complete sound and light alarm circuit according to the process requirements for the electronic products. The teaching key point is to complete the assembly of the circuit independently according to the circuit diagram. The teaching difficult point is the soldering of components. Please start by checking the tools and materials prepared before this lesson. Then prepare the components according to the component list. After testing, all the above components can be used normally. Next, we will begin soldering. During the process, please adhere to the code for safe use of electricity. First, we will proceed with soldering the resistor. Correctly insert the resistor into the PCB according to the resistance value before soldering. Please refer to the soldering requirements we previously learned for soldering. Solder the rectifier diode. Pay attention to the polarity of pins. Solder the non-polarized capacitor. Insert the capacitor correctly according to its capacitance value before soldering. Solder the electrolytic capacitor. Correctly insert the capacitor according to its capacitance, making sure to distinguish between the positive and negative leads before soldering. Solder the LED. Be aware of the polarity. LED pins are long positive and short negative. Solder the connector. Pay attention to the polarity of the connector leads. Solder the transistor. First, identify the component model correctly, determine the corresponding positions of the 3 pins, and then proceed with soldering. Solder the electrolytic capacitor. Correctly insert the capacitor according to its capacitance, making sure to distinguish between the positive and negative leads before soldering. Solder the trimming potentiometer. Insert the trimmer potentiometer in the correct orientation into R8, then proceed with soldering. Solder the relay. Insert the relay at position K1, then proceed with soldering. Solder the terminal block. Insert the terminal block into the correct positions on the PCB, with the connection port facing the outer side of the PCB, then solder it in place. Finally, install screws at the four corners of the circuit board. To complete the installation. After installation, check for any missed solder joints, cold solder joints, or incorrectly soldered components. Through this lesson, we have gained a certain understanding of the soldering methods for various components. 1. The sequence for soldering components on the circuit board is to start with the shorter components before the taller ones, and smaller components before larger ones, ensuring that the installation of previous components does not interfere with subsequent installations. 2. After inserting components, their markings should face in a direction that is easy to read, preferably in a left to right sequence. 3. Polarized components must be installed strictly according to the polarity requirements shown on the schematic diagram to avoid incorrect installation. 4. Through-hole components without heat dissipation requirements should be closely attached to the circuit board. Those with heat dissipation requirements should be suspended about 5 mm above the board. That's the end of this lesson. Thank you for watching.